Hello everyone, Sky here, and today we're going to talk about DPS Lightcones and should you pull for them, especially if you're F2P. Okay, I'm going to go through path by path so you can use the timestamps easily if you wish. And yes, to clarify, I'm only talking about limited DPS Lightcones. Cause if you get a standard Lightcone,
oh no,
it means you lost your 75-25, unfortunately. Okay, Destruction Lightcones. First, Firefly. Let's take a look. Okay, increases the wearer's break effect by 60%. So first thing, usually Lightcones, they have this stat that the character uses. And break effect is one of the stats that you have or don't have is not very important. What matters is you have enough break effect to activate all the tracers that require it and any of your relics that require it. So for Firefly is the Cavalry set, and I believe she does have a trace. Yeah, this trace. Module B, auto reactive armor. As long as she has 200 or 360 break effect, you can convert it to super break. So that's for Firefly's break effect. And let's read the rest of the Lightcone. Okay. You will inflict router for 2 turns. So this is basically a Vound. Vound is a rare debuff. So 24% increase break damage from the wearer. And the speed is lower by 20%. Okay, this speed it doesn't change anything. But this Vound, okay, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. So I would say as a free to play, right, this is the only valuable thing on the Lightcone. And if you notice the stats of the Lightcone, right, they look like they are 4-star Lightcone stats. It's really, really low. I'm not sure why, because it's Firefly. But okay, anyway, as a free to play, I will not get this Lightcone. Simply because the E1 and the E2 of Firefly is way better compared to this Lightcone. But if you're a Dolphin, feel free to get it for the 24% Vound if you wish. Now, Yunli greatly increases the wearer's chance of getting attacked. This is already looking like a very good Lightcone. Because this, I believe this is the only Lightcone in the entire game that increases your taunt value, which is something that Yunli greatly appreciates. Because without the taunt value, I mean without getting hit, she can't counter. So this Lightcone, right, is not only good for Yunli, it's also good for Clara, because Clara also wants to get hit. Then crit damage 30% irrelevant, because she gets 100 crit damage when you use her out. And after you use ultimate, receives 1 stack of Fire Dance, lasting for 2 turns and stacking up to 2 times, because she can out twice. Each stack of Fire Dance increases damage dealt by the wearer's follow-up attacks by 36%. So realistically, you will usually only be able to hold 1 stack at once, because very rarely you would have 2 outs ready at any given time, unless you save your energy and then you out twice in a row, with the mobs attacking you, of course. So I would say that this Lightcone is very important for Yunli, and you should pull for this Lightcone. Is it a must pull? Probably not, because 4 of Aeon exists. But if you are looking for a DPS that you want to get the Lightcone, this is a good one to consider. Okay, the rest, the ones that I don't have. Okay, Blade's Lightcone. Firstly, he's a rerun character and he's kind of outdated. So I would say that unless you really like Blade and you have nothing else in the future that you want to pull for, I will not consider the Lightcone at all. But first, let's read what it does. Okay, crit rate by 18%. Crit rate is always very good because crit rate is harder to get than crit damage. Crit damage is very abundant. There's a lot of things in this game that gives crit damage. Max HP by 18%. Okay, good. He does 1 HP. And usually HP scalers scale quite well with more HP compared to attack, because there is no harmony that can buff HP. Harmonies can buff attack but not HP. So when the wearers attack or consumes their own HP, their damage increases by 24%. This effect is removed after the wearer uses an attack. So realistically, only Blade can really utilize this Lightcone. Because if you look at the first effect, right, you need to get hit. And if you don't get hit, you don't get the effect. Or you have to consume your own HP, and who can consume their own HP? Blade. However, you could probably say that this is a kind of works for Clara. You can't use the second effect very well, but you can use the stat stick the 18% crit rate, and when you attack, you can use this. Other than that, you can't use the second passive because it consumes their own HP. Okay, Jingliu increases the wearer's crit damage by 20%. Again, an abundance stat that can be granted by a lot of harmonies. When a teammate gets attacked or loses HP, which is what Jingliu literally does, gains 1 stack of Eclipse up to a maximum of 3 stacks. Each stack of Eclipse increases the damage the wearer's next attack by 14%. When 3 stacks are reached, additionally enables that attack to ignore 12% of the enemy's defense. Okay, so first thing, right, there is no duration here. So that means this Eclipse, right, it's here to stay once you do it. And okay, 3 stacks, right, 36% ignore defense. So this is why people run Jingliu with the Quantum set, so you can stack the defense ignore and also Repeller, because the more defense ignore you stack, the better. So I would say this Lightcone is a really good Lightcone to pull for Jingliu because of the defense ignore. Is it must pull? Again, 4 of Aeon exists. Alright, deal. It increases the wearer's crit rate by 18%, very good. Crit rate is always better than crit damage. When the wearer uses the basic attack, they'll gain 1 stack of Dragon's Core, lasting for 2 turns. Each stack of Dragon's Core increases their attack by 18% and their energy regeneration rate by 6% and can stack up to 2 times. Okay, attack maybe not so, since you can, run Robin. And this energy regeneration rate, right, it can be really good, especially if you have an E2 deal, because he wants to out in order to get the 100% action advance. For E0 deal, it's still good because the more out uptime he has, the less skill points he uses. So I'll say deal does need his Lightcone. You can try to cope with 4 of Aeon. I don't see a problem. But at the end of the day, right, there's so many destruction characters and there's only one 4 of Aeon. So if you do pull for a lot of destruction characters, you're gonna have to carefully choose who you want to give this 4 of Aeon to. And there's not much substitutes for destruction. Maybe Blue Sky and Secret Vow, but it also depends on whether the character can use them. So like Secret Vow is just damage. Let me see, where we also deals extra 40% damage to enemies whose current HP percentage is 400. Yeah, just damage. And Blue Sky it's free crit rate. So if you do have multiple destruction characters, I would say pick the one that needs the Lightcone the most, and then give the others Fall of Aeon, or one of these Cope Lightcones. Like if you have Blade, you can probably use this. This is free. This Event Lightcone. And then Jingliu can probably use Aeon, and maybe you get Deus Lightcone. Let's say if you have all 3. And that's for destruction. Okay, the Hunt. The path that is not good in the current meta because it's AoE meta. Okay, first, Seely's Lightcone in the night. Increases the wearer's crit rate by 18%. Very good, crit rate is good. While the wearer is in battle, for every 10 speed that exceeds 100, increases the damage dealt by basic attack and skill by 6%. At the same time, increases the crit damage of the ultimate by 12%. Okay, the crit damage is not very important, but this is not bad. And it can stack up to 6 times, so you will 160 speed. Which for Seely, it's pretty easy to reach if you have her Eidolon too, but please don't pull for her Eidolon too. I would say even an attack boost Seely can use this pretty well. And another character that can use this Lightcone pretty well is Han March 7. Other than that, I don't think there's any Han character, at least currently, that would want to use Seely's Lightcone. Maybe you could give it to a 4-star, but I would not pull for this Lightcone just for the 4 stars. You can just use Cruising in the Stellar Sea, or even like Swordplay. So I would say unless you are a really devoted Seely main and you still want to play her, maybe you have like a perfect Quantum set, or you have like E2 Seely or something, then you can consider pulling for Lightcone if you haven't. If not, I would skip. Okay, Topaz Lightcone. I would say this is probably one of the few ones that have really high value. Okay, increase the wearer's crit rate, very good. Increases damage dealt by follow attacks by 30%, so good. After the wearer uses follow attack, inflicts the target with the tame state, stacking up to 2 times. When allies hit by the tame state, they increase their crit damage by 12%. Okay, at first glance, right, you look, okay, crit damage not very important, right? But when you think about it, right, the tame state, right, it's a debuff. So if you run this Lightcone with ratio, it's a free debuff for him, assuming you're still playing ratio. So this Lightcone, if you have Topaz, or if you want to really invest into follow-up, I would say you can pull for this Lightcone. Not a must pull, of course. Topaz can use swap play, however, if your Topaz is E0, S0, I probably wouldn't even pull Topaz. Unless you can invest in E1, S1, I would say Topaz is not worth it. But then again, it becomes quite a luxury pull because you got to pull 2 characters and a Lightcone. Okay, Ratio's Lightcone, which unfortunately I missed and he hasn't had a rerun ever since his debut. Increases the wearer's crit damage, again, crit damage inflated. For every debuff on the enemy target, the wearer's crit damage dealt against this target additionally increases by 8%. Again, crit damage. When using ultimate to attack the enemy target, the wearer receives the Disputation effect, which increases damage dealt by 36%. Okay, good. And enables their follow attacks to ignore 24% of the target's defense. This is why this Lightcone is good, because of the defense ignore. So if you're playing ratio, this Lightcone is worth pulling. Also, if you happen to have this Lightcone by accident and you don't have ratio, or ratio is benched, Facial can also use it. Okay, next, Boot Heal. Okay, before we start on this Lightcone, I want to say that when this Lightcone got released, there was no substitutes until this Lightcone came out. This Mosaic Lightcone, but it's also gacha lock, so depending on your luck, you might not have any copies of it. Anyway, Boot Heal's Lightcone, break effect 60%. And break effect is not the end-all be-all of break teams. The break damage dealt by the wearer ignores 20% of the target's defense. Very good, 20% ignore. One of the few rare debuffs, okay, not debuffs, rare, how do I say this? Okay, rare things that can affect break damage and super break damage. Okay, when the wearer's break effect in battle is at 150% or greater, which if you have this Lightcone, you know, is already 60 of 150, so you only need 90% more. And Boot Heal does have some traces. You will definitely get some break effect, so this is easily hit. And increases their speed by 12%, which is good because you want Boot Heal to be fast. So if you are playing Boot Heal and you don't have this Lightcone, you should pull for this Lightcone. However, in the current meta, Han characters do tend to struggle a little bit. So unless you really like Boot Heal and you want to invest to him, then get his Lightcone. If you think you're going to bench him soon, then don't. Okay, Facial increases the wearer's crit rate by 15%. Very good, crit rate is good. And when the wearer launches a follow-up attack, which every time Facial uses a skill, she is guaranteed to do a follow-up attack after that. Against one stack of Lumin Flux, stacking up to 2 times. Each stack of Lumin Flux enables the ultimate damage dealt by the wearer to ignore 27% of the target's defense. This is very good, and it can stack twice for a total of 54%. When the wearer's turn ends, removes 1 stack of Lumin Flux. So, why this Lightcone is good with Facial? It's because of the defense ignore. However, Facial can use Ratio's Lightcone. She can also use swap play. She can also use cruising in the Stellar Sea. Ratio can also use cruising in the Stellar Sea. However, Boot Heal, his only substitute is this. Or, if you want to cope really bad, Adversarial. But yeah. One thing I want to say about this Lightcone is, because you lose 1 stack when you end the turn, right? Pairing Facial with Han March is extremely good for this Lightcone. Because you see, Facial goes 1 follow-up attack, then March follows up attack, and then Facial will follow up attack. When you have this combo, you will always have 2 stacks of Lumin Flux every turn, no matter what this thing says. And then you just out before your turn ends. Then you can out with these 2 stacks of Lumin Flux. Okay, should you pull for this Lightcone for Facial? Yes, it's a pretty good Lightcone for her. Defense ignore is great. But if you don't have enough pulls, good substitutes, cruising, and swap play. And that's it for Han path. Okay, Erudition Lightcones, the path that is favored in the current meta right now, because it's AoE. Jingyuan's Lightcone, okay. Crit damage by 36%, again. Saturated stat. Skill and ultimate by 18%, pretty good. And after they use skill ultimate, follow attack damage buff. So this is actually a really good universal Lightcone for the Erudition path, since a lot of them have follow-up attacks. But if you don't know Jingyuan, I don't think you should pull for this Lightcone just to give to your 4-star characters. I pulled for this Lightcone by mistake because I wanted to have a good 5-star Lightcone for all my Erudition characters. It's a bad decision, so don't follow me. But yeah, if you own Jingyuan, sure, you can get it. It's a good Lightcone. Now here's the debate, okay, before we go to the next one. Some people do say that this was the best in slot universal Lightcone until Jade's one came out. So I want to tell you why it's debatable. So Jade's Lightcone, Yet Hope is priceless. Increases the wearer's crit rate by 16%. Very good, right? Crit rate is better than crit damage. Very true. While the wearer is in battle, for every 20% crit damage that exceeds 120%, which, you know, in follow-up teams, right? Crit damage is very abundant. This is very easy to get. Okay, the damage increases by 12% and can stack up to 4 times, which is 48%, I believe, yes. Which I think it's the same as Jingyuan, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, it's the same. Okay, so here comes the controversial part. Okay, the second part of it. When the battle starts, or after the wearer uses their basic attack, okay, enables the damage dealt by ultimate or follow attacks to ignore 20% of the target's defense. This is the very good part of this Lightcone. But what people don't read is when the battle starts or after they use their basic attack, and this buff only lasts for 2 turns, so it's not permanent. So unless you are a character like Qingque that wants to use their basic attack, or if you waste your turns to every 2 turns to use your basic attack, you're not going to utilize this 20% defense ignore at all. So unless you want to pull this Lightcone for sharing, right, no universal Lightcone, for the crit rate and the follow attack buff, or if you're willing to use a basic every now and then, I would say Jingyuan's Lightcone, right, is just as universal as Jade's Lightcone. Because this has this conditional thing that you have to perform, if not you don't get the second half of the Lightcone. Whereas Jingyuan, you just, for follow-up characters, okay, follow-up characters, you just need to be a follow-up character and then that's it. So that's Jade's Lightcone. I would say Jade's Lightcone is very worth pulling. She can fulfill everything, especially the defense ignore, and she will probably use Quantum Set unless you farm the new Power Set. So this can stack together with the Quantum Set for some really good results. And Jade's damage is kind of low, so any kind of buff to Jade, it will help her. So if you have Jade, you can pull for this Lightcone. Okay, Rappa's Lightcone. The character that people like to say if... Okay, I've heard, okay? Not gonna keep saying people like to say. I've heard, okay? If you don't have this Lightcone, she's literally unplayable. I'm here to dispel these rumors because there's this Lightcone called Make the World Clamor. Literally gives you energy. And it is said that because of this Lightcone that gives energy, that's why it's unplayable. You cannot get the out on turn 1. Unplayable. So what does this Lightcone do? Break effect. Okay. Not so important. When entering the battle, immediately regenerates 30 energy. Literally the same. This is 2 more energy. It's literally the same photo. So if you're going to say it's unplayable, which cannot get her ultimate on turn 1, just run this Lightcone. I'm sure you have it. Oh, wrong tab. Alright, okay. After the wearer uses ultimate, obtains Right On. After using 2 basic attacks, advances the wearer's action by 50% and removes the buff. After the wearer uses ultimate, resets Right On. So this is just a free action advance. This is a good Lightcone for Rappa, definitely, but I will not say that she's unplayable without it. She's not unplayable. Firstly, the break effect is not very important. Secondly, this action advance is nice to have. It's not required. And yeah, the energy. Talked about it. Would I pull for this Lightcone if I'm playing Rappa? Yes, because it helps with the energy. While you can say you can use this. Right, this helps with the energy and helps to get more turns. So this is good to pull for Rappa. But again, I'm gonna be a broken record. It's not unplayable if you don't have the Lightcone. Okay, before we go into her turn, because she's the latest character, let's do Argenti first. Let's not forget about the Knight of Beauty. Okay, again, crit damage. Not very important stat, but, okay, but, Argenti is not a follow-up character. So unless you run him with Robin, which I'm not sure if his best team now still uses Robin, this crit damage could be kind of valuable for him. When the wearer uses ultimate, increases damage dealt by the wearer's ultimate based on their max energy, which is perfect for Argenti. He has big energy. Each point of energy increases damage dealt by ultimate by 0.36%, a max of 180 points, which is literally what Argenti has. However, this is just a damage increase. Okay, it's a damage increase. I would say it's not really required for him. If you want damage increase, you know, things like Milky Day also increase damage. Although it's conditional effects, even Eternal Calculus, you know, increases your attack. I believe Seriousness of Breakfast also increases damage. So the only thing you're pulling for is this 36% crit damage and this ultimate damage. It's good, but is it worth it in the current meta to pull for Argenti's Lightcone? I don't think so. I think he's probably fine at E0S0. Oh, there's also another Lightcone you can use. Today is a peaceful day, the Battle Pass Lightcone, which is literally a budget option. You could say that this is like pay to win, you know, debatable, up to you. And if you happen to have a spare Hotel Lightcone, this is better than this. So now we can finally go to Hotel's Lightcone, okay? Increases the wearer's crit rate by 12%. So you can see it's already better. It gives crit rate, not crit damage. When the wearer uses the ultimate, increases the wearer's skill and ultimate damage, which is perfect for D-Hotel, also perfect for Argenti. Both also use skill and ultimate by 60%. After the wearer uses the ultimate, if this ultimate consumes 140 or more energy, recovers 1 skill point. You know who uses skill a lot? Argenti. You know who uses skill a lot? D-Hotel. This is literally the better Lightcone. So would I pull for D-Hotel's Lightcone? Wow, this is a good Lightcone, right? D-Hotel is a pretty F to P friendly character. You can always run 4-star alternatives for D-Hotel, such as even this Hotel Shop Lightcone, even Breakfast, even the Battle Pass, maybe even this. You don't really need her Lightcone. It's good, definitely, but yeah, I might consider going for Hotel's Eidolons rather instead of the Lightcone. The reason I pull for it is because I like to have all my characters with Lightcone and I'm not free to play. That's why I pull for this Lightcone. But it's not the end of the world if your Hotel doesn't have the Lightcone. Alright, the second last section, Nihility. So let's start with Kafka. Okay, increases damage dealt by the wearer by 24%. After every attack launched by the wearer, get a 4.8% speed buff, stacking up to 3 times. Very good. Kafka Fast means more attacks to trigger dot. And she's the only character that can trigger dot. Like trigger any dot, okay? Let me rephrase, can trigger any dot. If the wearer hits an enemy target that is not afflicted by Erode, this is a dot. It's 100% base chance, okay, to get Erode. And yep, last thing for wanted. So this is an extra dot for Kafka to activate. Okay, this Lightcone is very good. Very, very good for Kafka. But there is another Lightcone that is not very far behind. It's called this Lightcone, Good Night and Sleep Well. However, again, this is a gacha Lightcone that doesn't rerun often, so you might not even have it. Let me give you a second option, okay? Solitary Healing. Okay, this break effect is useless, okay? However, when you use the ultimate increases the dot dealt by the wearer by 48%. And regenerate energy, which means more Kafka ultimates. And Kafka's ultimates can also trigger dot. So now there is really no excuse to get this Lightcone unless you're a dolphin. Plus plus plus. And Kafka's Eidolons are actually, I believe they are better. And the first Eidolon is a Vound, while the second Eidolon is to increase your whole team's dot damage. While this speed is pretty good, and this extra dot is also pretty good, her F to P options, they are there. These two. Or if you want the code right for Mata, but I don't think it's that great. Okay, the next one. Black Swan's Lightcone. Reforge Remembrance. Before we even start talking about this Lightcone, right? It already got power crap. But you know what? More on that later. It increases the wearer's effect hit rate by 40%. This is very good for Black Swan because she needs a lot of effect hit rate. When the wearer deals damage to enemy inflicted with wind shear, burn, dot, bleed, so basically all the DOTs, okay? You get one stack of profit. Do note that this stack of profit, because there's no time, it is permanent. So when you use the ultimate, you instantly get 4 stacks. And each stack will increase her attack and ignore defense. It's very good. Very, very good. This is literally the best Lightcone for Black Swan for her personal damage. So why did I say that this Lightcone got power crap? Because this Lightcone. And this Lightcone, right, it gives the Vound effect. Okay, you know what, since we are comparing to this, okay, let me read this Lightcone first. Let's not jump too quickly. Okay, those many springs. Okay, 60% effect hit rate, which is literally same as S5 Black Swan Lightcone. After the wearer uses basic skill ultimate to attack an enemy target, there's a 60% base chance to inflict this state. Okay, it increases a 10% increased damage, which is a Vound. If the target is under dot, there's a 60% chance to upgrade it to unarmored. Which Jiaoqiu or even Black Swan, they do use dot, so yeah. Upgrade to corner, okay, increases the Vound by 14%, so it's a 24% Vound. And note that this Vound, any of your teammates can use it. So what this Lightcone does is, not only does it provide more effect hit rate for your Black Swan and your Jiaoqiu, whoever is using it, it provides a Vound which helps the whole team, okay, do more damage. So why I say this is all creep, it's because more team damage is better than just Black Swan's own damage. However, if you're like me and a Black Swan fan, and really love Black Swan, I will get her Lightcone. Because can you imagine your Black Swan, you go to the Lightcone tab and you see a man? Can you imagine? Cause I can't. But yeah, this Lightcone, it's good. It's better than Black Swan's Lightcone for your team, and Jiaoqiu can hold it. However, do note that for Jiaoqiu, right, he can just use this. But for E0 Acheron, you might want to give this to Pella. If not, she can't really apply debuffs. So if you run one of them on like Jiaoqiu, your Pella probably wants to run tutorial. And I think that's about it. Oh wait, one more. Acheron's Lightcone. Forgot about Acheron's Lightcone. Okay, crit damage. When the wearer hits an enemy target, okay, this is a debuff. And then, okay, wearers deals 24% increased damage to targets with this. And damage by ultimate increases by 24%. Okay, why this Lightcone is good? Okay, because this applies an additional debuff. And additional debuff is a +1 stack for Acheron. And Acheron needs 9 stacks to unleash your ultimate. Any free stacks, right? Free stacks. Yes, free stacks. Oh yes, free stacks is a huge damage increase. While you can say, you know, good night and sleep well, you know, pretty good also. You can use it. But you're giving up the free stack, okay? Forget about the crit damage, forget about this increased damage and all that. It's the stack. The stack matters. So if you're playing Acheron, please get the Lightcone. If you can, okay? Don't feel pressured. I'm gonna say that no Lightcone is really a must pull. They are all would be nice, but it's a matter of how much you weigh the Lightcone over another pull. So like Acheron, right? The Eidolon one it's whatever. it's the Eidolon 2 that is good. So I would get E0S1 instead of E1S0. And that's for Nihility. Okay, the final section is going to be really short. It's just one Lightcone, Aglaya's Lightcone. I have heard, okay, through the grapevine that she's unplayable without E1, without S1, without Huo, without Robin, without Sunday. Okay, I'm gonna tell you it's all cap, okay, she just needs Sunday. Because you can literally, right, you can literally just use this one. While it's not as good, it's usable. It's usable. And if you have the Battle Pass Lightcone, she can also probably use this. Now, let's read this Lightcone, okay? Increases the wearer's base speed by 12. This is very good for Aglaya. She wants speed, she wants as many actions as she can. But do note that more speed does not equals to good. You have to have more speed and you have to hit the breakpoint. Then it can be considered as good. Okay, after the wearer and the wearer Remembrance sprite attacks, okay, Aglaya does have a joint attack. So this is easily achieved. Again, one stack of Brocade. Each stack of Brocade increases the crit damage by 9%. Again, crit damage is kinda inflated in Aglaya's team. However, her best team is not with Robin. Okay, stop saying his best team is Robin. That's cap. She actually does better with RMC. And 3B is also good for her. So this crit damage, 6 times 9, 54. It's alright. What is good is this 9% basic attack damage, because her multipliers are kinda low. But she's fast. She's hella fast. Anyways, is this Lightcone should you pull? If you are playing Aglaya, sure, you can pull for Lightcone. It will make it better. However, it is not required to the point that if you don't have Lightcone, it's unplayable. It's not, okay? It's not. Stop doom posting Aglaya. Okay, stop saying she's a mid character. And yeah, that's it for Lightcones. Okay, in conclusion, alright, if you didn't watch the whole video, I would say there are no Lightcones that are must pull. There are also some Lightcones that are kinda bait, which I have mentioned. Okay, one example is Firefly. Not needed. Would be nice to have. Well, some Lightcones would be much nicer to have than others, such as Aglaya's Lightcone, for example. End of the day, I would say Lightcones are the least important to spend your pulls on, especially if you're F2P. Always look for the Eidolon 1 first to see if it's a higher upgrade than pulling for Lightcones before you think about pulling the Lightcones. Okay, I'm going to give you an example why don't fall the trap. Don't fall for the trap of pulling Lightcones when they are not needed. Okay, firstly, right, while you may think that the Lightcone art is really nice, okay, I will not look at this Lightcone. Okay, while you might think the Lightcone is really nice, like wow, Lingsha looks so good here, even has the bunny. I love the bunny, it's so cute. Okay, it's nice, okay, but when you think about it, right, when you look at your characters, right, you can't even see the Lightcone unless you come to this screen. And if you look at them in the overworld, you also cannot see the Lightcone. So how often do you even look at this Lightcone art to appreciate it? You're pulling it because of these stats. Compared to a game like Genshin Impact, where you pull for the signature weapon, right, you can actually see in the overworld while you're exploring. So end of the day, okay, if you want to invest more in your characters, Lightcones are the lowest priority. Check if their Eidolon 1 is better. If not, okay, here's some pulling advice, okay. Pull for another support or even a new character, especially the latest character, because that is the biggest damage boost to your account compared to vertically investing or even investing in a Lightcone. Because you know, whenever there's a new MOC, what do they favor? The new character. Alright, but you also don't want to invest in too many niche, because you will end up with a lot of characters and their teams are not complete. So take a look at your account and see what you really need. If all your teams are completed and you're thinking about, you know, investing more into them, I would say think about starting a new team, maybe, assuming you can complete the team. So okay, let me give an example. Okay, onto the data bank. Data bank is not. Okay, let's say, okay, you have a couple of teams. Let's say you have two teams. Maybe you have like Super Break and then you have... I can't think of one. Say if you have Super Break and maybe you have Follow-Up Attack, okay? Super Break and Face Xiao. Okay, Super Break and Face Xiao. And both of the teams are completed. So, instead of pulling for Firefly's Lightcone, right? Maybe you can save up the pulls a bit more and pull for like an upcoming DPS. Let's say My Day, okay? Example, okay? I'm not saying to pull My Day, okay? Or even like Casteris. I don't know if she's a DPS, but imagine if she's a DPS. You might want to consider to invest in the newer DPS. So, controversial take is, right? What are you going to do with your pulls if you don't pull? So I want to say that, you know, your pulls, okay? These pulls, right? Do you see any expiry date on them? No, right? So what is hurting you from keeping them? If you can clear the endgame content, you might as well keep for something in the future that you can either like start a new team or even like newer characters, because newer characters usually, okay, they'll be better than older characters. You don't see an expiry date on your Star Rail special pass, so what's the hurry to pull? There's no hurry. Just keep first. Wait until a character that you want, or a character that's good, a new good character, like maybe Casteris, okay, maybe My Day, I don't know. Rather than, you know, you see, oh, I got pulls, I shouldn't keep, I should pull right now. Think about it. And that's all for this video. Thank you for watching. This is a nice buff, golden water. Anyways, yeah, thank you for watching. Have a great day, and see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.